But yes, welcome everyone. I'm really excited to be hosting this event tonight. For folks who don't know, Firestorm Books and Coffee is a collectively owned radical bookstore and community event space in so-called Asheville, North Carolina, on the indigenous land of the Cherokee people. What a lot of folks don't know about us, but are beginning to discover more and more, is that in addition to all of our general interest and radical literature, we have an extensive children's, early readers, and middle grade book sections at our store. My coworkers and I often talk about how much we love our children's section and how grateful we are to have an entire wall covered in the beautiful work of our diverse range of children's book authors. It's really wonderful. It makes me feel really good. And I hope you all get a chance to see it someday. And, you know, some of those brilliant authors are even here with us tonight. So since this is our first virtual event to feature a picture book read aloud, I don't want to take up too much time with an introduction, but I will just say that tonight's event was organized in collaboration with PM Press, who's an independent radical publisher of books and media designed to educate, entertain, and inspire people from all walks of life. So much love and thank you to the folks at PM Press for helping to make tonight's event happen. I will also mention that while Firestorm remains closed to the public due to the global pandemic, we do have our full catalog listed on our website and are shipping books to folks all over the country. And we also have a community calendar where you can stay up to date on all upcoming events happening through our store. Side note there, we are hoping to reopen our doors at the end of May. So hopefully we can see some of you in person soon. And for anyone interested in all of that, I'll drop links in the chat, including links to tonight's featured book. So keep an eye there, either at the beginning or the end of our event. I can share them a couple times just to make sure everybody gets to see them. On to tonight's event. We are here for an adventure read aloud of a More Graceful Shaboom. I personally can't wait. So what I'll do is I'm going to introduce the author and our readers for tonight, and then I'll hand it over to them to get started. So for folks who don't know, Jacinta Bunnell is the author of 5 coloring books with PM Press and Reach and Teach, including Sometimes the Spoon Runs Away with Another Spoon, Girls Are Not Chicks, and The Big Gay Alphabet Coloring Book. She's a visual artist, writer, and educator living in the Hudson Valley, New York, and for close to 2 decades, Jacinta has been making media for young readers that challenges gender stereotypes. This is her first picture book. And for more on Jacinta's previous works, you can visit the website, which I will drop the link to in the chat. And then we've also got Ami Glazer here with us tonight, who is a writer and a filmmaker from Fountain Valley, California, living in Philadelphia with their rabbit, Rhubarb. And with that, I'll hand it over to Jacinta.
Hello, thank you so much, Ash. And I see we have some very excited readers out there with their books. It's so fun. Thanks to everybody for coming. Hey, I have that book too. I am delighted. We're gonna get started right away, but I first would like to thank Ami, who is basically adopted family to me at this point. I met Ami through one of my nibblings many, many years ago, and Ami and their rabbit, Rhubarb, feel like they are in my heart and part of my family. So Ami is going to be reading all of the voices of the characters, and I'll read the rest. Ami, if you want to say anything before we start?
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Cinta. That was very sweet. And I also wanted to mention that I Jacinta asked me to do this reading after I reached out to her for copies of the book for a book sale that we're doing for my friend's fundraiser. We're raising $65,000 for them to buy a plot of land and a tiny home to have housing security for themselves and grow food for themselves and their community. So I'm just gonna include the link to the website with all the books that you can buy. And there's also, you can find a link to the GoFundMe and the Instagram for the fundraiser to learn more about Casey and their project.
Thank you, Ami. I love that. That's a great way to support Black farmers. So follow the link, but not right now because we're going to be reading soon. All right. So I wrote this book, A More Graceful Shaboom, because I didn't see people in books that represented, that looked like me or my friends, particularly because the main character is non-binary and uses they and them pronouns. So follow along because we're about to find out what happens to our main character. A More Graceful Shaboom, illustrated by Crystal Vayula. Harmon Jitney had an extravagant collection of belongings. But keeping their belongings orderly was challenging. Harmon's pockets were unusually small for such a task. Pretzel rods and night vision goggles spilled out, leaving trails of trinkets wherever they traveled.
There must be a better way to carry snack foods and tokens of appreciation,
Harmon speculated. So Harmon tested various solutions. First, they tried out paper bags, only to discover that the bags ripped after 3 uses. Harmon also tried experimenting with wagons, but they flipped while running fast over speed bumps. Harmon nearly gave up the quest until they realized that they had to look further than their own backyard for the answer. The next day, Harmon noticed something new downtown. Purses! Sequined purses! Luggage purses, dog purses, weekend purses. Everyone with important things to carry seemed to have some kind of purse. Harmon suddenly realized that what they needed was not another paper bag or pocket, but a purse, an all occasions kind of purse, the sort of satchel someone could take to a party or the playground. Harmon needed a purse to hold a change of flip-flops and underwear. Sometimes you need a change of flip-flops. Accident can happen. But Harmon did not know where to find a purse. When Harmon got home, they asked Mama Millie Mapletosh, the solution queen to nearly everything. One of her favorite sayings was,
"If it rains outside, we'll just go camping inside."
And she would set up waterproof tents in the kitchen.
"Mama Millie Mapletosh, where can I find a purse?"
Harmon's mama was up to her cheeks in her latest at-home invention. She was building an XJ6350 millennial bipedal astro welding robot from scratch. Construction materials were spread out all over the floor. A disassembled dishwasher, 3 carburetors, a movie theater popcorn machine, and a calculator with gigantic numbers. Mama Millie was clearly too busy to answer Harmon's question. Harmon sighed and moved on. In the living room, Harmon found Mother Loretta watching the noonday news programs. Harmon knew these programs made her cranky, irritable, and out of touch with reality, and so approached with caution. When not watching news, Mother Loretta was actually a very practical-minded person. One of her favorite sayings was,
"When you want to make friends at a party, go around gathering garbage like stained napkins and gum stuck to the underside of chairs. Within minutes, other partygoers will want to meet the busy party garbage collector." "Mother Loretta, where can I find a purse?"
Harmon's mother was up to her nose in news. She was watching a program about the world's biggest bald baby and was clearly too busy to answer Harmon's question. Harmon sighed sadly and moved on. Outside, Harmon found their sister, Ray Shirley Ray, operating her Swift Sure specific backhoe. It was rip-roaring loud.
Ray Shirley Ray, where can I find a purse?
Harmon's sister did not hear them over the racket she was making. She was up to her ears in dirt and noise pollution. She just thought Harmon was exercising their jaw and waved politely. Ray Shirley Ray was building another fort. One of her favorite sayings was,
if you cannot find any refreshing beverages in the refrigerator, build a fort.
Ray Shirley Ray was clearly too busy to answer Harmon's question. Harmon sighed heavily and moved on. Determined to find an answer, Harmon strolled up the avenue and knocked on the door of their neighbor, Buck Barkaloo, a costume designer for the rock bands Rodents with Cameras, the Kiss Ups, Goat Vest, and Scranton Enchantment. One of Buck's favorite sayings was,
can you please keep your koala from pooping on my azalea bushes? Buck,
Harmon asked,
where can I find a purse? Why do you want a purse?
Buck replied,
the problem is my puny pockets don't hold a thing bigger than a bumblebee's dress. I would like a purse for day or evening, the sort of satchel someone could take to a party or to the playground. In that case, you are in luck. You have come to just the right place and are just in the nick of time. I have purses aplenty and was about to round them up for the local good deeds basement yard sale. They are varied and excellent, as they were left here by my favorite French mime band brunette chauffeur. Now, let me see where I stashed them.
Harmon followed Buck, weaving in and out of various rooms. Behind door number 1, there were no purses. Instead, they found a heaping mound of pencils, sharpened until they were too small to use. Behind door number 2 were several large polar ice caps. Behind door number 3 was a lone single muffin monster who badly needed a hair washing. She sat slumped and sticky, pineapple zest icing speckled on her face. Harmon and Buck knew that the muffin monster needed more than they could offer. What she needed was a salon team of pelt engineers. They gave her a hug and promised to return with help. Behind door number 4 opened easily. Out rolled 142 million summer peas and 66,500 Brussels sprouts, covered in spinach. Harmon suddenly remembered a seemingly sensationalist noonday news program about children who covertly built tunnels connecting the underside of dinner tables to one central disposal cauldron. Buck Barkaloo, claiming he had never even heard of Brussels sprouts, shut the door swiftly and jogged down the hall, still in search of purses. Doors 5, 6, 7, and 8 were willy-nilly collections of polka dots, home economics homework, invisible stars, garage door openers, and Hollywood nights. Not one tiny, measly purse. Door number 9 would not budge, but chunky almond butter oozed from the keyhole. Buck Barkaloo tried door number 10, but it would not open. Buck had a set of keys and attempted every one. The last key, when turned sideways and clockwise twice, opened the lock. Behind the now open door was a heavy velvet curtain. It took both of their strengths to part it. When they did, they saw a cavernous collection of perfect, pristine purses, each one more preferred than the previous. There was an evening bag filled with crumpled party napkins, a giraffe-sized donut-carrying purse, a dressy handbag made of socks, a rubber chicken pocketbook, a chocolate-coated clutch. And there, in a quiet corner, the most precious purse of all, a plushy, elegant, purple radio purse. A purse that had a built-in radio. Harmon could listen to the hits of the 80s, 90s, and today. A purse that was purple, Harmon's favorite color. A purse that was plushy. Crafted from fine imported plush from Grasse-le Chateau Nouvelle, France, home of the aforementioned French mime band. Harmon did a little victory dance, knowing that not a single more perfect plushy purse could be found in modern times. Harmon thanked Buck Barkaloo and skipped home. The items Harmon put in their purse at first were sparing. Mama Millie's expired driver's license, the keys to all of Ray Ray Shirley Ray's forts, and strawberry mango lip balm. Days later, Harmon added underwear, of course, a bagel in a bag, and a picture of snow, a fairly light load. Before long, Harmon filled the plushy purple radio purse with grander, more impressive items. Several rolls of toilet paper, Grandpa Quackenbush's collection of rare dessert recipes, 4 trays of pizza. The purse grew bigger and everything seemed to fit. When Harmon realized the purse had ample legroom, they invited their friend Nettie June Carter Shinkman to ride in with her bicycle. The purse grew even bigger. When Harmon began to understand the potential of the purse, they tried bulkier items. A canopy bed, a dinosaur named Eric, 285 years of heirloom seed catalogs. And then in went except for Graciela Fartinelli III. She was out with pigeon pox that day. An open-air flea market that had once been a drive-in movie theater, and a monster truck caravan. A wave of inspiration overtook Harmon at the massive capacity of the purse came into focus. All at once, Harmon gently squished the entire earth and then the universe into the purse. Graciela Fartinelli III eventually made it in once she recovered from the pigeon pox. Then Harmon climbed smack dollop into the middle of the purse and proclaimed,
I sure hope somebody is writing this down.
Now Harmon had a favorite saying too. When the last olive-sized detail of the entire world was coaxed into Harmon Jitney's purse, it snapped shut with a big, hotter-upper, smasherific bang, followed by a more graceful shaboom. All around, there was stillness, unlike anything Harmon had ever known. Immersed in dark and library quiet, Harmon felt around for a light switch. Their hand brushed briefly over a fruitcake before finding a switch. When Harmon flipped on the lights, the contents of the purse became illuminated. What they saw was magnificent. Harmon gazed upon jazz dancers of every size, puppies holding babies, unicorns leaping over rainbow archways. There were gorgeous garments and great-great-grandparents, and a sparrowhawk resting on an outstretched glittery glove. A growing smile melted its way across Harmon's face. Harmon Jitney reached through a pocket-sized hole at the top of the purse, feeling the familiar air of the outside world.
Just checking,
Harmon said to Ray Ray Shirley Ray and Nettie June Carter Shinkman, there by Harmon's side. A disco ball dropped from a rain cloud. A jukebox whirred on. Within arm's length, a dolphin leapt from a turquoise ocean. Harmon Jitney found themselves in a noble ballroom surrounded by cake trees and everything else they had ever needed. Harmon had finally found what they had been looking for all along. They began to dance.
I sure hope somebody is writing this down.
And thank you, everybody.